The Science of Eradication Malaria course is an initiative that was really put together because the academics found an opportunity to make a contribution to malaria eradication and malaria elimination through capacity building in malaria endemic countries.
Basically, the principle is that the core courses aim at a fairly high level of participants. It's really a kind of a leadership program in malaria and malaria control. So we attract people from all sorts of international institutions, from pretty high up in national malaria control programs, etc. While the regional courses are aiming at one level below that, more the reasonably experienced but not yet senior researchers, middle-level managers in programs, etc. So it's quite a different concept, and I guess it's also a little bit more applied as a result.
The major sponsor, which is FAPESP, saw this course as an opportunity to bring students from other countries to Brazil to foster possible collaborations with Brazilian institutions. So this is one of the objectives. Of course, the opposite is also true. I mean, Brazilian students may become quite interested in going to other countries, not only for typically laboratory research in major institutions, but also perhaps in field work in poor areas, poor endemic areas. So several possible alternatives were made possible by this course.
Marcelo came to us with the idea, I think it was early last year, mentioning the interest, having had the experience with the science of eradication, and his idea was that we should have one in Brazil where lots of countries from the region can participate. And I'm really very excited about the fact that we've got 42 countries, in fact, participating in this course in Brazil from all over the world. So that is really a great achievement.
So we had lectures, we had group discussions, we had teamwork, we had visits in the field, and there is a very strong network happening over those 2 weeks. And we're going to create groups that people can share information.
I knew a lot of things about malaria because this is my major. But in this course could help me for managing my knowledge, and this is a new window for me for gathering new things and for future research.
I think the topics about the social issues about malaria are being really interesting. Yeah, so the issues that goes like beyond actually the biology of malaria, but then the things that science can impact on the behavior of people.
I have more of a political and a social science background, but for me it's just what I needed in terms of learning a little bit more about vector biology, as well as parasitology, and filling in some of the gaps in my own knowledge of malaria. So it's really been wonderful in that respect, and what I've noticed about the course so far is that it's had a little something for everyone. For instance, those who are researchers who have a very narrow focus at the molecular level, for instance, are getting a bit of a bigger picture in terms of the implications of their work and what exactly it is that the national malaria control programs in the Americas and outside this region even need from them in order to make informed decisions and continuously improve their operational efforts against this disease. So that's been really great.
The course, I learned some more advanced things that will help me to modify my PhD project and to implement some strategies after I finish my PhD.
Here in Brazil, I think it's quite interesting to see people involved mostly in laboratory work, becoming more and more interested in going to the field and seeing the real world, and to start to think about the real issues, the real problems that make malaria eradication so difficult. Not only in terms of what's the technology necessary for malaria eradication, but also what are the practical issues in terms of implementation, program management, etc.
There are a lot of young people coming into the field, and the field where you have a strong young base, it means it's booming, it's doing well, it's attracting young people who have other potential areas of interest. It's definitely a good sign that malaria and malaria control remains very attractive to young people. And yeah, it's nice to be able to slowly think about retirement, getting out of this. I think having done our job in some ways, but being able to really hand it over properly to the next generation.
We already have 5 people from Africa talking to us to try to launch a regional course in Africa. And that's exactly the kind of outcome that we want from those building capacity efforts, is to really make people go back to their countries and make it happen.